Hello guys, today I'll be doing a little bit of a different video. I'm going to be making a tier list of all the weapons that are level 125 or above in Onigiri. I may be missing a few weapons here. I've also grouped some weapons like the Gargs into a full, like, one single tier rather than having all of them, just so it doesn't clump up too hard. Um, if I'm missing any, I apologise. This is all I could think of. Um, yeah, let's get straight to it. I'll also explain my ideas on why I've put it into the tier that I have, and well, if you have different reasons for why, then just tell me down in the comments, and maybe you can change my mind on that. Alright, let's start. Okay, so we got Animos. So the Animos does pretty well. It's the only sellable 125 plus weapon, which is pretty nice. Which is going to definitely give it points in its favour. Although it's probably one of the worst level 125 weapons. Worst weapons in this list. But that's a given because it's only level 125. Wind and rain, I think it was. I may be wrong on that. I know it's got wind. I can quickly pull it up in game. Give me a sec. Wind and rain. Yep. Alright, so rain. Rain doesn't really is one of the worst elements of the game. As for wind, it's one of the better depending on your class. I'm probably going to put this into... Oh, this one's a hard one. Because it's definitely not going to be F because, yeah. I think I'm going to put it into D rank. Okay. Silhouette Sipper. F rank. It's rain element, as I just said before with the Animos, one of the worst elements in the game, in my opinion at least. It's not really got much to it. There's better weapons for its elements. There's its event locks. It's not sellable like the Animos. There's not much to it. There's not much good stats on it. It's kind of useless, if I'm going to be honest, unless you don't have a weapon at this point. And that's all it can be really used for. Next, I get these two mixed up. I believe this is the Eternalized, and I believe this is Fortune of the Frozen. One of them, if I remember correctly, is better than the other, though, depending on your level. So, if I go into weaponsmithing, Eternal Ice, yep. There's High Mountain, High Ice with, but this one is then the level locked one, which gives you more. Okay, so what about bonus? 40, 300k. This one has a higher average, so yeah. Okay, so Fortune of the Frozen. So Eternal Ice. Now these weapons are really dated. They gained a buff recently. That buff didn't do much to help it. I'm going to put this in D rank, and then I'm going to put this one in C rank purely because it's slightly better than this one. But these weapons, honestly, they're really dated. Okay, White Brilliance and Raid. White Brilliance, Holy and Lightning. There's Moonbow for that, and Moonbow would be easier to get, so it's honestly been knocked down. I'm gonna put this in D. Do I put it above this? No. Honestly, Animos wants to go all the way down. I believe these weapons are still better. These are also extremely dated now. Although, the Supreme, not Supreme, the Raid is Fire and Dark, which is a bit better elements. We have better skills for these elements, which allows us to do more damage. It also has an extra stat that the White Brilliance doesn't have, which I believe it's a bit of extra attack, unless I'm wrong on that. Either way, this one's going to get a C rank, and it's going to be above there, because this one, there's no, you don't have like a Dark and Fire Moonbow wiping this out. You don't, and then it's better elements than the White Brilliance. It's worth it. Okay, the Grace. Grace has Mountain and Wind. These two elements are decent elements, depending on your class, and also there's not much weapons above it that are Wind and Mountain that are easy to make. So you've got your Delirium, you've got this weapon, which is actually worse. You don't really have, you have your Revolutions. There's not much above it that's easy to make. So this one's probably going to get a B rank for that reason. Okay, the Rev 3. Holy, Rain. Rain, like I said, pretty much useless. Holy, it gets outdated by the Moonbow. This one, Moonbow's easier to make than one of these because of the recipes, honestly. I'm gonna, if it was a couple years ago, I wouldn't do this, but this one's gonna get an F rank for that reason. Some of you might hate me for that, but it's the honest truth. The Supreme. Alright, this one's a bit different. Again, Dark Fire. Now, this is slightly worse than the Raid, but it's also a lot easier to craft than a Raid. I'm going to put this probably here because you can outdate it by the Raid, but yeah. Okay. Frozen Shadow weapons, they'll always be pretty nice. The bonus isn't the best, but it's got decent bonus. It's got the attack 30%. It's Dark and Ice, two of the best elements in the game. This one's getting an A rank. First A rank on the list. Okay. The headless weapon, the non-corpse. So just a regular headless, level 128. Dark Lightning. Okay, Moonbow beats this on Lightning, and Frozen Shadow beats this on Dark, but this has an advantage over them. This has much more bonus than them, which allows you to do more DPS if the rest of your build is good. So, while I wouldn't put this above the Frozen Shadow, I would probably give this a high B rank for that reason. I want to give this a low A rank, but no, we'll keep it at a high B unless I decide to change. Alright. Next, we have the, I forgot what they're called. Divinity weapons, whatever they're called. 128. Yeah, Ocean Divinities. The Leviathan weapons. These. Okay. The SP kills the entire weapon. Simple as that. These are bad. These are going to get a straight D. And also it's Rain. There's Holy on it as well, but gets beat out by Moonbow with Holy. Rain is already bad. It's a low D from me. It's a dead weapon. Alright. The Ignis weapon. So this one's a difficult one because while it's Fire and Dark, it doesn't have much stats to buff it up, although it again has decent bonus. The bonus isn't crazy on it, but it's enough to prop it higher. This could theoretically out DPS a Revolution's fire Revolutions, even though it's a lower level than it. It just needs a good mag build to out DPS it because of that bonus. I'm gonna put it. It's kind of got the same reason as the regular headless, but it's at less potency, so I'm gonna put it below the headless, but I'm still gonna put it at B rank for that reason. Cursect. Alright. This one, so this is for Cursect 128. This has upsides and downsides. So wind, poison weapon. Wind's a good element. Poison is one of the worst elements in the game, if not the worst. No, I'd say second to worst. Flight is definitely the worst. This one, there's not much to outmatch it with poison, outside of like the delirium and the metamorphosis, the upgraded version down here. So it definitely gains for that, but I believe it also has decent bonus, but outside of that, it doesn't really. It's not good elements. I'm probably going to throw this here. So normally, it could out DPS this, but the problem is it's not got good elements on it, in my opinion. So it's gonna drop there. Okay, the Red Moon Celio. Now, this is an Udashi specific weapon. And while it's not a great weapon, it can do some damage for definite, but it's also Udashi specific, so C rank. That's all I've got to say for it. Okay. The Sacred Tree weapons. I'm also pairing these in with the dark versions of these. As for these weapons, in the base form, they're garbage. Honestly, they aren't as bad as the Ocean Divinities, but they are garbage. I'm gonna put these at. Would I use them over a Supreme? Okay, I wouldn't use them over a Grace. I'm probably gonna put that there. Yeah. Meditation. Okay, another good weapon. I need to double check. So what's this got on it? So its bonus is it's alright. It's not the best. High attack. It's got some decent things going for it, but it's importantly dark fire, which is another good element. The only problem is we're starting to get too many of these dark fire weapons. It's better than Supreme. It's better than Raid. I would say it's better than this. Meditation, honestly, I think it's going to go A rank, but below the Frozen Shadow. Moonbow. Now, I know everyone likes Moonbow. This is a nice weapon. Okay, so this has. So the thing is with this weapon is it's meant to give really high base attack, so you can basically use it as a stat stick. It's basically a stat stick. That's all it is. It's great for utility early on. Early mid game. No, late mid game, late game. But after a point, it kind of becomes dead. Although it's very useful for pushing yourself up to the higher stages. I'm gonna give it a high A rank for that reason. Just because it's useful for pushing yourself up there. Okay, Death. Down there. Alright, so for Death, the reason I put it down here, it's a level 130 weapon that acts like a level 115. While it has dark and holy, it's really unique for that. It does not do much. It's got really bad stats on it. It it's got an overloaded amount of stats on it, but barely of them actually do much to the weapon itself. So there's not much to gain from it. Yeah, outside of like maybe a lunge step sword, and in case you need holy and dark in one dungeon, that's all it can really be used for. So there you go. Or if you like cool looking weapons, because this weapon does look cool. Okay, Shura. So, Shura, purely neutral element weapon, but it's really good at that neutral element. So, while I wouldn't put it near the tops here, it definitely deserves a mark because, again, this can be a stat stick like the Moonbow. It's a little bit worse at it, but it has the style. So, I'm going to put this here for that reason. Metamorphosis. So Metamorphosis has lifesteal on it, which is really nice. Kind of like Moroku Tabiyakusha, but you don't need to crit or anything, I believe. I'm not quite sure on that, but I know it has lifesteal on it. Again, it's got a good element and a bad element. So wind poison. Um, yeah, it's I would put it in. It definitely deserves a rank here. Like, it's definitely above everything else. It's really got really good damage, really good bonus, really good everything. The problem with it is it's just got the poison, which doesn't push it into S rank for me. If it had something else other than poison, it would go into S rank. Like, I know it's got wind, but I mean like a different secondary element. Like, I don't know, if it was fire, for example, fire, wind, that would be an amazing weapon for me. But that's where it lands. Delirium. Okay, Delirium instant S rank. So it can out DPS for it basically does what the Metamorphosis does, but better. So um, it's got much higher bonus. It can it's got two different forms depending on your weapon type. You've got the Dark Wind the Dark Wind poison version, and then you've got the wind no not and then you got the mountain, holy, and poison version. Yeah, S rank. Oh, and it has basically it has two useful elements and then the poison as well, which Metamorphosis doesn't have. There you go. Corpse. So corpse, a delirium does what a corpse does, but better if you have the dark version. But the corpse has style. So I'm gonna put corpse S rank 2 because it does have the bonus for it. But it has two pretty useful elements: um, lightning and dark. Unlike the Metamorphosis, which only has one useful element. Okay, for regular Void. Okay, Voids were bad before the buff. So, how bad were they though? They were worse than this, for definite. I would say it's worse than... It's better than these though. I'm probably going to put this in B rank. Bottom of B rank. Or top C rank. Top C rank will do. Okay, Void Strikes. So, the Void Strikes, these are much better. These have insane bonus, insane attack, and there's not much downfalls to it, except it's got one massive problem. In order to harvest this DPS out of it, you need to seal and also be on low HP. This disables the ability to use things like Moroku Tabiyaksha accessory. You could get one shot at any point. Big issues basically arising that part to get the DPS. So it's really good for speedrunning, but you cannot have long-term survival using it. It still deserves S rank. I would put it below Delirium though, because these can mathematically reach the DPS of an ODP weapon, but only at sub 1% HP. Revolutions. Now these weapons had their period. Like they were beautiful weapons for a long time. Until the Void Strikes came along. The Void Strikes came along, every one of those perg weapons started getting upgraded, and this quickly became the worst perg weapon. So there's really... Like, it's still better than one of these, but it's they've kind of died off. Now, there's 3 different types, so you have a choice between different elements, which is pretty useful. So I'd say it's probably just here for that reason. So naturally I would put probably this all the way to maybe here above it in terms of damage wise you can get out of it. But this has more viability when it comes to different elements. It's got 6 different elements you can have: fire, holy, rain, lightning, wind, and mountain. Next, we have the regular Revolt. This weapon was also really bad before it received its buff. I would say it's still better than a regular Void, but it wasn't great. It easily got outclassed by a Moonbow. It got outclassed by all this. I would put this probably just above... I'll put this here, because it just doesn't... It wasn't valuable. It's just more of a trophy weapon to have. The Revolt Strike, on the other hand, this weapon is amazing. It has negative every element other than neutral, holy, and lightning, which is a bit problematic, but the amount of bonus this weapon has gets around it. It has the same amount. It has a really similar bonus stat to like running a Void Strike, but without the negative property of needing to be on low HP. This weapon needed to be on high HP. But the seal does something very nice with that. It gives you 10% of your HP back every second during the seal, which is 60 seconds. That is incredibly OP. Pair that with a Tabiyaksha accessory, and it's really hard to die as long as you don't get one shot. This does lower a bit of defense though, but honestly, as long as you can make yourself survive endgame dungeons, that's not a big problem due to the regen. This gets the highest S rank right now. ODP weapons. Now, these are versatile with there's a version for every element. They also have really high DPS. They're great in every single way, basically. But they've got one problem. They require a lot to craft, and it's not worth crafting, to be honest, for what you're getting out of it. Especially when you only can craft one element. So, it's definitely still going to go into S rank, but below the Revolt Strike for that reason, because the Revolt Strike can rival it in DPS. It just doesn't have the crafting recipe needed for it. Alright, for regular Abyss Void. Now I separated these out from irregular void strikes and voids because these have different stats entirely. Now the abyss void, this is really bad. These were worse than the regular voids, and it is more insult to injury that they had 9 voids in the crafting recipe, which is still the case. This is going to get a straight. I'm gonna do really low D rank purely because of the looks. It's a trophy weapon, and yeah. Now the Void Strike, on the other hand, Void Strike version of it, this weapon is way better, but it still has an expensive recipe. Now, I would put this beneath Delirium, but above the Void Strike. I've docked it it would be here in DPS wise, but I've docked it a couple points because of the crafting recipe. Alright, final weapon, the other side weapon. These are just like, these are the early on stat sticks before moon bows and all that stuff. There's not much to this. So honestly, just utility at this point. They're probably D rank, just above an Animos. Alright, there's my tier list. So S rank, we got Revolt Strike, ODPs, Delirium, Abyss Void Strike, regular Void Strikes, and Corpse. A rank, we got Metamorphosis, Moonbow, Revolutions, Darkfin, and Meditation. B rank, we got the Headless, we got the Cursect, we got the regular Revolt, we've got the Ignis weapon, we got the Shura, and we got the Grace. For C rank, we got the regular Voids, we got the Celio weapon, we've got the Supreme, no, not Supreme, we got the Raid, we've got the Sacred weapons, we've got the Fortune of the Frozen weapons, yeah, and then we got the Supreme weapon. We've got, for D rank, we got the Eternal Ice weapon, we got the White Brilliance, we've got the other side, we've got the Animos, we've got the Ocean Divinities, and then we got the Abyss Void. And then for F rank, we got the Rev 3, we've got the Death, and then we've got the Silhouette. Now, this is just my opinion on these weapons. Again, if you have differing opinions, you could maybe comment, try and give me reasons on why they should be ranked higher or lower, and then you could maybe change my opinion then. This is just what I think for now. I'm free for an opinion change. Although, yeah. See you guys.